Okay, hopefully. Yay, I fixed it. Okay. Good evening, Christian Carpenter, and good evening, pretty shiny peoples. This will probably not be a long live. Yeah, you can now. I just fixed it. Yeah, this will probably not be a long live. I was just really bored, and I noticed that none of the usual suspects, or unusual suspects for that matter, were streaming at the moment. Well, I guess a couple were, but I guess I just wasn't very interested in the topics. I don't know. Did you hear what the press secretary said, though? That was some interesting shit. I don't know. About AP not being in the newsroom? That was... Oh, so, that was something. I don't like one-way streets, and I hate people's inability to like operate on a two-way street. It really bothers me. It's part of the reason I have a really hard time like adopting and accepting labels, right? Because they're practically meaningless. But so the right is supposed to be like champions of free speech, and free speech isn't free speech unless you know you allow speech that you don't like, and all this other stuff, and they're anti-censorship and all this stuff, right? Well, during one of the press conferences, one of the reporters asked why AP wasn't in the room. And she went on this speech about how not just anybody can ask questions of the president, and that it's a privilege to be invited into the room and all this other stuff. And then the reporter asked, well, do you think like it's retaliatory because they printed Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America? And she responded by saying that if the White House thought that you were printing misinformation or you were lying, that they didn't have to allow you to be there, basically. And I just thought that that was very interesting. Particularly interesting because if I remember correctly, and I'm open to being corrected, but if I remember correctly, AP never outright said like we shouldn't call it the Gulf of America. I think they were kind of like we should be able to use both terms because Gulf of Mexico is like a long established name and it's globally recognized in a way that Gulf of America is not, or whatever. I don't know. I just thought that that was a very, very weird thing for the free speech side of things to do. I don't know. Particularly, well, never mind, I won't go there. It's just weird, and it seems awfully hypocritical and one-way streetish. But then those that scream about it the loudest generally are, right? Like X. X was supposed to be all about free speech, but man, did people start getting banned left and right. I mean, I don't know. That it just seems really weird to me. Really weird that you would be not allowed into the newsroom because you chose to use the words Gulf of Mexico. I think that was pretty telling, but whatever. It's another problem I have with labels, you know? I think it's my trust issues. Like, the bigger the group gets, the more people that label encompasses, the more chance that label is absolute bullshit to begin with. Because when you break it down, they don't even fucking agree with each other. And very few of them can operate on a two-way street to begin with. I don't know. I'm feeling particularly cynical these days, too. Not because of the administration or anything. Whatever. We've survived worse. We've done worse with better. We've done better with worse. And even if you can't stand him, you can't really say he's the problem. Even if you think this administration is a problem, you can only say that he's a symptom. He's not really the problem, is he? I mean, even if you hate every single thing he does, it's not really him, is it? I always hated that excuse when they said it about Nazi Germany, right? And whether you have a good leader or a bad leader, the answer's the same. It's the people. Because every time you hear about history, they say, you know, this leader this, or this leader that, or Hitler this, but Hitler had a whole nation underneath him. A whole military, a whole nation of soldiers, a whole nation of doctors, a whole nation of people jumping to turn their neighbors in, right? So even if you thought that he was the most evil leader ever, is he really the problem? I don't think the administration is why I feel cynical these days at all. I don't know why I do. But I think I'm kind of done with the like arguing and screaming back and forth at each other and the meltdowns and the name calling and the bullshit that goes with it while we pretend it's debates or it does anything or defines anyone or anything like that. You know? I keep running around and I keep looking for channels or a community where that's not the prevalent thing, right? Where people can just like sit and chat and exchange ideas and shit like that, right? But I'm starting to think that it doesn't really exist. I'm starting to think that no matter where I go, it's just going to be people screaming over each other and yelling at each other and drop kicking and pointing fingers and calling names and pretending that's an actual debate, right? Or a discussion for that matter. I just don't see the point in it anymore, you know? Really, really don't. And what's so bad about discussing things? Like, really discussing things? If you can't argue for the other side, if you can't, I'm not even saying agree with the other side. You don't have to agree with the other side, obviously. That's why it's the other side. But if you can't argue the other side, if you can't honestly argue the other side and prop up that argument by its own merits, right? Then I don't think you even understand the argument. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just extra cynical today. You guys should come up and chat about how you guys are doing, because I don't like to monologue. And I started this because I was bored and nobody else was streaming, but if everybody else is busy or not participating, then it will probably not be on much longer. And that's okay. I don't really care. Either way, just killing time. Hey Arctic, hey Zebra, hey Bond. Who's Numi? Like, okay, I feel so stupid because people throw the name Numi around and I don't know who the fuck Numi is. But I'm guessing he's in my room, which means I have to know who they are. Also, hey Spooky. No, for real, who is Numi? Anybody? Anybody got, like, hello? Spooky. Oh, then why do people keep typing hey Numi? Because I don't know who that is, but I see that people talk about that person a lot and I don't know who it is. And then I look down and people are saying hey Numi and I'm like, who the fuck is Numi? And now I feel stupid because they must be here and I don't know who the hell they are. Must be one of those jokes I don't get because I'm not really in the community. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay, I don't feel this bad now because I really don't know who that is. Yeah, I don't feel bad at all now because I can't recall that person at all. I don't remember running into them. I don't remember saying hey to them. I don't remember being in the same chat as them. And if I was, I didn't read their name, so I don't know. Oh, I'm probably glad that I don't like that I don't like them. Jeez, that was preemptive. I'm probably glad that I don't know them then. It is. Yeah. The probability of me liking them is particularly low if that is the area of the internet they can be found in. Yes. That's an accurate statement. Not as preemptive as I don't like them, you know, but accurate nonetheless. It is very likely that I don't like them. You know, I went to praise this channel like twice. I think like year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And haven't been there since. Totally good with that decision. Don't feel like I'm missing anything, you know? Well, Canadians got nothing to do with it, right? He could live in Timbuktu for all I give a fuck. If his hangout spot is somewhere you go to watch your brain cells be torturously killed over and over again, then he's probably not my kind of peoples. Did he get his channel shut down? How'd he manage that? No, see, why are y'all you gotta come up here and tell me the story of what happened. The link is pinned. You can come up here and tell me what happened. Or you could type it out. Brainwashed by what? Aren't we all? On some level? Okay, Bond. Somebody, for real, somebody tell me how he got his channel taken down. Did he attempt to dox somebody again? And dox the wrong person? And show pictures of random children? What did he do this time? His name is Tom? That sucks. I mean, the name Tom doesn't suck. I have Toms that I'm close to. It sucks that his name is Tom. Strikes. Was he like streaming somebody else's stuff or what? I don't know. Who cares? It should have been for doxing people and showing pictures of random kids. That was a weird fucking thing he did. Is it just me? Or do the Christians like wild out harder when they're pissed than the atheists do? I mean, don't get me wrong. Both sides can have a like us or them thing going on, and both sides can absolutely be brutal and turn on their own like super easy. But is it just me, or are the Christians like particularly
There you are.
willing to cross lines? Hey.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why or how his channel got taken down, but I heard today from the news unit, the guy that used to hang out with Wildheart, and Dave was saying that the news unit's name is also Dave. So he was saying on his stream earlier today that Praise I Am got his channel taken down, but he didn't say why or how.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because his channel, Tom's channel, has been on the internet for a while. I mean, he's had his YouTube channel since before 2017, I think. So he's been at this for going on 10 years.
Yeah, like I haven't even been around that long. I would pretend. Like, it's so funny because people think I'm a part of the community, and I'm really not. I've delved into the fringes a little bit, but I don't know most of the names thrown out, and I don't really care to, especially now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The ones I do know of are kind of his channel honestly should have been gone when he attempted to dox somebody and released pictures of some random kid. Like that was weird.
I was unaware of any of that.
Oh yeah, that was
I
forever
haven't.
ago. He thought it was Will Freeman actually.
Oh,
He
really?
thought
You're kidding.
he was stupid enough to think that his real name was William Freeman. So he went and looked up William Freeman on Facebook, found a profile of some like midget guy,
Oh
and
no.
like started showing pictures of him saying that it was Will Freeman, started showing his Facebook, had some kid that this guy must have been related to, like in all these photos. I mean, just going at it. That's yeah, it was wild. And then he said that's back when he was just being absolutely like him and Will Freeman had that back and forth going, and then he got mad at me because he said something like I sounded like a what did he say? I don't know who Pixie is. Something something. She sounds like a like she's 4 feet tall and 350 pounds or something like that. I don't know. And then like him and Will like made a truce or whatever. And then which I knew nothing about and didn't care about, right? Well, like they were all like saying hi to me and being nice to me, and I just made this like offhanded comment one time. I was like, "Why are they saying nice to me? Like, why are they saying hi to me and stuff? Like, this is really fucking weird. Like, I haven't like called mad or anything, but it's really fucking weird. Like, why are they doing this?" And Will was like, "Oh, we have this truce and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Look, I don't have a truce with anybody, and nobody said shit to me, so that's weird, and they should stop." And then like he got all offended about that. I don't know. He's wild. I haven't. That's about the time I was like, nope, I don't need that kindergarten bullshit. You can go eat glue by yourself, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gone over to Tom's channel for probably a year and a half now. And the only time I'd go over there prior to that would be like if Wildheart was up on a panel or the news unit went up on a panel or whatever, you know. But his whole channel was revolved around just like slandering people and bullying people and
of course.
Just, you know, it was just totally toxic.
Bond said he took it down himself, probably to avoid strikes. And Spooky
really?
said, yeah, and Spooky said Praise is live right now.
Really?
Interesting. And
so which is it? Is this channel gone or is it not gone?
I don't know. He may have taken it all down himself.
Weird. Oh. I seen, all right, so yeah, earlier today I was over News Unit's channel and he mentioned that, but at the same time he was restreaming The Dude.
Pause that thought real quick. Pause that thought. Hey, Bond! Okay, sorry, you can continue.
What's up, Bond? So he was restreaming a guy, The Dude. There's this guy named The Dude that's been hanging out on Praise's channel for about the past like 2 years.
Yeah, that fucking moron. I know.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. Yeah. And Tom and Olive, and there was maybe a couple other people up on The Dude's panel earlier today. So I don't know if Tom's like streaming from The Dude's channel. There's Will Freeman right now.
Yeah. So Arctic.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
No, I can fill you in on some of that stuff. For whatever reason, I know it. Well, I think I know it, but but yeah, no, I think his channel's already back up, and it came up the other day too, and then it went back down. I think he's taking it down himself and then putting it back up and just editing the content that's on his page.
Oh, really?
He's live right now. So.
Oh.
Yeah, they do. I think they do some karaoke now there, and so I don't know if they get some copyright strikes and stuff. They have to.
So what is he doing? Is he just like making his whole channel private, and then he's just going through like all of his.
Yeah, I think he's just making it. Yeah, making it private, and then deleting videos and trying to filter through videos that have might be an issue.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I know YouTube has gotten really crazy lately with like the censorship and going after people for the
apparently Apparently, everybody has, including the White House, according to the White House press secretary.
You're
That was
kidding.
No, you didn't hear that wild shit?
No.
Okay, so for the party that's supposed to be free speech, for the party that says you shouldn't censor people, for the party that says it's only free speech if you allow people to say things you don't like. We all agree
Yeah.
with this, right? I agree with this.
I do
I
too.
agree with this statement wholeheartedly. So somebody tell me why the press secretary stepped out and said that AP was not allowed in the press room because A, they had the nerve to say Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America, and B, it is a privilege to be able to ask anything of the president, and you are invited into the room, and they can kick out anybody they think is lying or putting misinformation because of Gulf of Mexico. Let's keep this real.
All because some people are continuing to say Gulf of Mexico.
Now, well, I'm open to being corrected if I'm wrong, but last I checked, AP was arguing that they should be able to use both because it's been Gulf of Mexico globally for so long and it's not globally recognized as Gulf of America, that in the interest of reporting on a global basis, they should be able to label something what the world recognizes it as, whatever.
Oh, so if you're not okay, if you use the terms that aren't updated, I guess.
Oh, but this is from the party that says politically correct is bullshit, right? That's what I'm saying. I am on board with the free speech argument. I'm on board with it. It just seems to be that the people screaming it the loudest are the people jumping over themselves to censor people every time their fifis get hurt.
That's messed up.
X was the same way.
What is AP now? What does that mean?
AP is, what is AP short for?
The Associated Press.
Associated Press.
Associated Press. Okay. All right. No, I get it. So, God, that's just so messed up. All right.
There are so many reasons to kick a journalist out of a room. There are so many reasons, but for real, to be like, you can't be in here asking questions of the president because you said the Gulf of Mexico and we think that's a lie, is a little bit weird coming from the free speech side. Not gonna lie.
Like, all right. So I think I understand this. That is really freaking screwed up. Because what they're saying is, we're going to move the goalpost, and instead of calling it a goalpost,
Instead of calling it the Gulf of Mexico, we're going to call it the Gulf of America.
Right, and if you don't conform with that and start speaking the way that they want you to speak, then they're going to shun you.
Right, you'll get kicked out of the press room. Right.
Yeah, that is not good. That is not good at all. Holy crap. My mind is literally fucking blown right now. I mean, I can't. This is America, you know? I mean, we ought to be able to. I'm going to continue to call it Gulf of Mexico because that's how I was raised. That's what's on all my maps that I have in my possession. You know, I'm not going to get out a little fucking eraser and erase that on every map and rewrite in some shit that somebody just fucking made up out of left field, you know?
It's just the hypocrisy of it for me, right? Because let's say that Obama or Biden's press secretary kicked out Doocy or Fox News or something, right? Like they would have a field day. And it's really hard to be like business rights, but not business rights, but free speech, but not free speech, but free speech, but only when we want the free speech, but free speech as long as you don't hurt my ego, but business rights, but only if we agree with the business. Like, and both sides do it, and that's where I get hung up. I'm like, if the label is so big that you guys can't agree on shit and you're actively working against each other, then the label doesn't mean anything anyway, and it never did.
Well, I kind of see it more like power and control. Like they're testing people. They're gonna put a cake, a shit cake on a fucking table, and they're gonna say you better eat this pile of shit cake. It tastes like fucking crap. It's gonna make you sick. But you have to eat the cake, because if you don't eat the cake, then we're gonna kick you out of the press room.
So, so
Well, let's
You know,
not,
it's
let's
just
not, let's not, but again, let's not pretend that this is a one-way street, right? Let's not pretend that it's one-sided. I could say the same of the left. I have watched the left eat its own for the most ridiculous, extreme statement one could think of. And if you are not all on board with that ridiculous, extreme statement, not only are you not one of them anymore, but you are banned, you are shunned, and you are canceled because you don't agree with that ridiculous extreme statement, right? So if like I said, even like I said earlier, even if you think that Trump is evil, even if you think that this administration is horrible, even if you think all of those things are true, you have to admit two things. A, he's not the problem, and B, the Democrats did a whole hell of a lot to hand this to him on a silver fucking platter.
well, the Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. No matter how you look at it, they're the same coin. This is one side's the tail, one side's the head.
That's kind of how I feel. They were both offering me some sort of shit. I
Yeah,
guess the flavor of the sprinkles changed.
exactly. And they're all puppets too. So they're puppets, and somebody is pulling their strings, right? Who is that that's pulling those strings of the politicians?
Well, even beyond that, it doesn't even matter who the puppets are and who the puppeteers are. We support it. We say we don't support it. We complain about it. We debate about which side's worse about it. We do all these things, but we don't actually care enough to force change about it. We really don't. That's why we are where we are. Right? It's why I said even if you think all of those things, you have to admit he is not the problem. He can only be a symptom of it.
Well, there's two kinds of people in this world. There's lapdogs and there's wolves. And they're trying to figure out who the lapdogs are and who the wolves are, because they know that the dogs can be trained. The dogs will do what the masters say. The wolves won't. So that's from
Either
their
that or they don't have
perspective.
to anymore. Either that or they don't have to anymore. See, if you can control the wolves and you can train the wolves, you can keep them with the sheep. And then when they get a little restless, you can even let them fight each other. And it's really, really easy to point people at each other to keep them from going after you. Maybe that's why the cycle's inevitable, you know? Like even okay, so we've been the side that Trump is all bad, right? I've said that side. Even if you think he's all bad, these things, he's not the problem. Even if you think Trump is all good and all his policies are good, he's got what, 4 years? Let's say he passes that. Let's say he gets that amendment passed that says he can have another 4 years because he hasn't had two consecutive terms. Let's say he gets that passed. He's what, 82 at the end of this term? And then how many people get angry? How many flips in the narrative is it going to take with people's short-term memories before they get the opposite side in office? Or go take this side in a direction that's no longer recognizable, right? Like how long before that slowly happens? So even if you think he's all good, is there anything that can really stop a decline once it's going full speed? Is there? Because maybe that's why the cycle's just inevitable over and over and over. People and their short memories and our inability to learn.
Have you ever seen the video by X Lives? It's called Slavery in the Eight Veils. It's a short little 10-minute video. Kind of explains everything we're talking about here.
It's not the differences that bother me, right? It's the absolute venom and hatred with which these things are discussed. Because the truth is, the reason there is an argument, right? Earlier I said, if you don't have to agree with the other side, but if you cannot argue for the other side, do you really even understand their argument, right? So in that vein of thinking, there is merit to the point each side is making. Maybe one holds more merit, maybe one holds more benefit, maybe one considers something that defeats something in the other argument, and that's fine. But to think either side has no argument because the extreme of it is ridiculous is somewhat troublesome to me. And so I think I've grown tired of spaces that can't approach it as a discussion, because I'm really just tired of the venom, and I'm just not in that place right now, and I don't want to.
Well, with each veil you pierce, there's going to be increasing people that come against you with that venom that you're talking about.
Oh, I know. It's ingrained. It's ingrained. The other side can't have any points. The other side can't have any value. The other side can't have any merit. The other side is evil. We got to get rid of the other side. The other side is the problem.
Well, it's not
Always,
just that.
always.
It's not that. People need to make their own personal decision on what they're going to focus their life on and what they want to give attention to, right? So people need to decide whether an opposing view is even worth their time to consider, right?
It's always worth your time to consider. If you don't
No, it's
understand
not.
it, yes, it
Not
is.
always.
If you do not consider it, you do not understand it. If you do not understand it, you
That's not
cannot defeat it.
necessarily
You
true.
cannot defeat it because you don't even know what you're fighting against. Yes, it is true. It is true.
You need
If
to
you
learn to
cannot,
pick your
no,
battles.
if
You need to learn to pick your battles. Yeah.
look, it's
Not
not.
all battles are worth fighting.
It's okay. That's the problem. Not every discussion, not every exchange of ideas is a battle. And if you think it is, then I don't know, maybe your room is not the room for me to be in, right? I'm just not there anymore. Not every exchange of ideas is a battle. Not every disagreement makes you an enemy, and I'm tired of everywhere I look people making enemies of people who would agree with them on 85% of everything, right? I don't agree with everybody on anything, but I'm really just really tired of the venom. I really am. And I don't it's hard for me because I want to discuss these things,
Well,
but I don't
like,
know any place where these things are being discussed where it's not an absolute dumpster fire.
Well, Pixie, are you talking about how? All right, so I've noticed throughout the years that the social situation, certain people in particular, have a tendency to like turn every freaking conversation into a debate, and it's getting more and more so. I'm noticing here on YouTube, like it's getting more and more so like that, where just about every fucking conversation turns into some sort of debate and
It's
shit.
not a
Is
debate.
that
See,
what
and
you is that what you mean when you're talking about Venom?
kind of, but I actually think you're being generous, right? I mean,
Well, I'm trying to
not
be.
just you are being generous because I don't even think it's a debate, right? I like debate.
Right. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
debates. Debates
I
are
know what you mean.
structured.
Yeah.
Debates are structured. Debates
Mm,
have a pointing system. You have speaker
correct.
points. You have times to
Yeah.
cross-examine. You have ways to cross-examine. You have 2-on-2. You have 1-on-1. And usually the format of the debate tells what kind of topic is being discussed. Is it logical? Is it philosophical? What is it, right? A lot of times the format of the debate alone gives away what kind of topic is being discussed in that debate. These are
Yeah.
not debates. Let's not get it twisted. These are not debates.
True.
These are glorified, like rage-filled, name-calling, temper tantrum throwing arguments people
Just
call debates so they feel better about what the fuck just happened in the gangbang
yeah.
pile-on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's all turned into a total pissing match. You know. There's even some channels that they call their channels like verbal combat and shit.
I don't know. I've just decided that maybe that's not my corner. You know? Maybe I'll find a new one.
Yeah, it's not my corner either.
Hey, Bond. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Even though you're being awfully quiet, that's okay.
Sorry, I was in the chat. I was doing the awkward salute.
Ah, fun times. I get the inclination, don't get me wrong, because I have deep-seated trust issues, and once you break my trust, I mean, I have a teddy bear, and my teddy bear likes to play fucking hard, okay? Um, Sometimes I'm extra fond of you, and even though we'll never ever be friends, we will still be friendly acquaintances. But in that case, my God, are you lucky? So I get the inclination, but how? And I get the fun of it, right? Especially for that time period where I had a lot of extra energy and aggression to get out. But how does one keep it going for so long? How is one so dedicated to it? I don't know.
They call
People
that
confuse me.
sector of YouTube the beef sector, don't they?
I have no idea what they call it.
I've heard people mention like the beef sector, and I don't, I'm kind of from the old school YouTube, back in like '08 and '09, '10 and shit. And like all these new people on YouTube, they've got terminology and crap that shit I'm still trying to freaking learn their new terminology of what they call stuff.
Let's go, Boomer. Get with the terminology.
What?
So get with the terminology.
I also think I'm gonna start cutting people off soon, like just fading a little bit. Not from here, I'll still have my channel, but from like other places. I think I might just like fade some and start cutting out people that I feel like broke my trust or used me or whatever. and just be a lot quieter.
I relate to that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah.
It's just part of picking your associates,
98.7% cutoff is what I calculated for me.
That many, huh?
Yeah.
My initial reaction was like, ouch. But on my more self-destructive days, my numbers are there. So, can't say much about that. When I reopened the Wild, I only brought 10 people in, So
Yeah.
I was like, fuck that noise. There will be no backstabbing. There will be no drama. There will be no entitlement. You will not come into my room and use me while you break my trust repeatedly. We're not doing that again. No. 10 people. These are the 10 people. I'm good right now. It'll be a long time before I consider letting somebody else in, I think.
Yeah. Arctic, it's been a while since we chatted. And a voice, I see you around everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like me.
Yeah.
We're all places.
Yeah, I know. I've only been up on panel with you a couple of times, I think, though.
Yeah. I saw you at randomly at Mel's a while back.
Yeah, I don't go over to Mel's anymore.
Yeah, I've kind of.
She has blocked me and kicked me out of her Discord, and I have no idea why. She was trying to sucker me into being a co-host like 2 years ago for her channel.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I didn't want to do it, and when I told her I didn't want to, she got all vicious with me. So then I completely just, didn't go to her channel or watch any of her YouTube or anything for like a year and a half. But then this past fall, I just stumbled back across her, so I started going into her chat and saying hi to people and stuff in there and talking to her and stuff too. But then all out of the blue, like 2 weeks ago, she just like blocked me and kicked me out of her Discord and everything. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I don't go over there anymore now. Because I don't go where I'm not welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person that's going to like keep going back. And you know how people do that, and they like record everything and freaking doing shit. I'm not that guy.
I mean, to be fair, I have, I did do a lot of clips of people, but yeah, I get what you're saying with recording.
No, to be fair, Bond, you clipped people's videos that they left out there publicly. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Maybe.
But like, yeah, I have no idea why she blocked me or anything. She was going through a bunch of different fucking like drama things that she caused, and I think that she was scared that I would like bring up like what happened 2 years ago with the whole co-host thing. Like I had private correspondence with her back and forth and stuff, but I would never share any of that crap publicly,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I don't do the whole sharing privates.
Yeah, I used to go up on her panel quite a bit though, like 2 years ago. Yeah, and this past fall, I went up on her panel several times, and 2 years ago, I never chatted. I didn't start chatting in her side chat, in her live chat, in text, up until last fall. So 2 years ago, when I was hanging out over there, I never once chatted in her chat.
That's interesting because I haven't known her, or I haven't known about that channel for 2 years. It was only recently. It was already whenever you were chatting in there. Whenever I saw you, and I commented
in the side chat. So So that would been the stuff.
I don't know if I believe that's flow state or not. Like, guys.
Oh yeah, I saw you over at Flow States, Pixie.
Oh well, I occasionally drop in over there. No, there's somebody backstage called Fat Flow State, and I don't know if I'm about to get porn bombed.
No, I don't know if that is him. No,
It's probably not. It's probably. I don't know who this is though. I don't know who it is, and I really don't want to get porn bombed. Hold on.
If you click the three buttons,
make him turn his camera on. Flo will turn his camera on.
So click the
Abstract
3 buttons.
Angel Artist.
Flo will turn his camera on. He's not. Flo's cool. Flo is a super cool
It's
guy.
not linked to Flo's channel.
Okay, yeah, it's probably some random.
And I don't know.
He's got another channel though, called Powdered Dusty.
Yeah, I was there today.
Okay.
But it's not that. This is called Abstract Angel Artist, and I don't know this channel. Can you turn your camera on for like 2 seconds? Person backstage, I'm the only one who could see you. I really just don't want to be porn bombed.
You can also put a like make yourself big, like solo layout.
Yeah, the main screen.
So you could hear his voice. We all know what Flo sounds like. So
yeah, Flo's cool. I like Flo.
Yeah, he's super cool.
He's way better than Speakeasy.
Yeah, he's chill.
There you go. Yeah.
Speakeasy.
Speakeasy, dude. I'm about to go in on Speakeasy. I had a conversation.
Okay, it's somebody flipping off the camera. They're not very happy.
Oh yeah.
They're flipping off my camera. They're not muted, so I guess they're just silently flipping off the camera.
It's not.
You're a fucking cunt.
Oh yeah.
You fucking bitch.
Oh, this is King Steven, the little bitch.
Oh,
That's who it is. Oh, King Steven.
This is my.
Can you let a guest speak? You wanted to hear my voice.
That's my troll. He comes in here and he begs for my attention, and then he runs back to his channel and he's like, "She banned me. She banned me. Where?" And then he talks about how I beg for his attention, but he keeps coming back to do this shit, and it's hilarious. So let's entertain the toddler. Everybody ready? Roll clap when he's done. 1, 2, 3.
King Steven.
Fuck you.
That's
everybody clap. Happy birthday. Anything else?
About what he brings to the table.
You're a stupid bitch. You're a tweaker.
Yeah.
Nope.
What drugs are you on? Hey, what drugs are you on, Pixie? What do you snort up your nose?
I don't
snort
anything.
Up your nose. You snort shit. Yeah,
nope,
you snort shit.
Weed.
No, but you do more than that. You snort shit up your nose. I've seen you.
You have? No, you haven't.
No, we've seen you. We've seen you on video.
You're an recorded liar.
You snort weed. No, it's shut up, dumbass. She snorts weed. She snorts weed. Yeah, you do. You snort drugs. You snort fucking shit up your nose. You snort powder. And you eat
more.
You eat joints.
King Steven.
No one's crying, bitch. You just lie. You lie. You lie. You lie, you stupid bitch.
1.
Bye.
Okay, everybody clap for the troll. Yay! Happy birthday. I will entertain you the next time you come back to beg for my attention before you go cry about how I banned you yet again.
Does he snorts weed? Okay, so this guy snorts weed. That's very telling.
I have no idea. This guy just comes up and says whatever the hell he wants to say, and then he runs back to his channel and does streams about how I begged for his attention and how I also banned him. Yeah. And then he comes here to do it again. So
he talks about people that ban him. I went to his channel and joined his stream. He asked me to join his stream, and then whenever I joined his stream, he's like, "Why did you join my stream?" And then he banned me after we talked for a little bit because he couldn't get under my skin. He thought insults would like affect me on here.
Yeah.
And whenever I was just rolling with it and just like, okay, yeah, cool. What else? He got upset and he kicked me and then played his little cockroach song.
Well, you know why he doesn't like
He's an
me,
idiot.
right? You know how he got obsessed with me. It's because he was on Wild and you were on Wilds, and I joined the stream. And right when I was joining the stream, he mumbled under his breath. He was like, "Bond is a cockroach," and I came on and I was like, "Excuse me." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Bitch, you're the one person on this panel that nobody gives a fuck is here or not. So if you're gonna say some stupid ass shit like that, like say it with your chest next time. Don't mumble that shit under your breath."
I must
Now
have
he-
missed that.
And then now he fucking, and then like ever since then he's been like obsessed with coming here to say that I banned him and am simultaneously begging for his attention, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I swear to you, I went to his channel after he got kicked from Wild Hearts, and then I was in his chat. He invited me up to talk to him, so I clicked the link and joined. And when I did, and when he realized that his insults weren't really going to affect me at all, he kicked me and played the cockroach song for like 15 minutes. So.
Is that why he mumbled it? I don't know. I just know, like, as soon as I came on, he, like, Wild was adding me. Because as soon as I hit the panel, that's what I heard. That's when I was like, but no, like, none of us even care about you, right? So, like, you say that shit with your full chest. Like, don't fucking mumble it. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I've had a one-on-one with him before. It didn't go his way. It didn't go the way he thought it was going to go. And I think he got upset by it, and then he kicked me. And then, he played his little song, and he's just a weirdo. But I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch. It was fun to entertain for, the 10 minutes that it lasted.
I don't know. You gotta be particularly bored or particularly fucking miserable to be that dedicated, and may something go right in his life soon.
Yeah. Hopefully, I do hope that.
I can simultaneously wish that and wish bad things. Not harmful things, but bad things. Like Jill. I will eternally hope that Jill gets a horrific case of diarrhea in a particularly bad traffic jam.
That's horrible.
Oh my god.
Look, I don't wish hospitalization on him. I don't wish a coma on him. I don't wish death upon him. I don't wish for him to get a limb chopped off. None of this. I just wish for him to have horrible diarrhea in a terrible traffic jam. Okay? I'm good with that.
Oh my god.
I'm good with that too.
So bad. Like, who thinks of these things?
Me, but then again, I did write a script that once called for somebody to be cut open with a rusted fan blade and sewed shut with barbed wire, but that's neither here nor there.
I could come up with some things, but we'll stick with what you said in traffic. I don't want to go down that route. Missing Mod said I'm a stream hoe, which is funny. I laugh because there was a stream I was on, and I had told him I was going to join, but I never did. I never made it up there. It's a pretty cool community and stuff. The person was pretty cool. They called me what do they call me? A stream hoe that was playing hard to get because I wouldn't join, and they were joking when they said it. But they called me a stream hoe. Yeah.
I go a lot of places. I don't type in many places that I go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I do that.
Like I go a lot of places, but they wouldn't know I was there.
Yeah.
You're a lurker.
I lurk for a long time before I say anything. For example, the first channel in this quote-unquote community that I spoke up in was Gur Streams.
Oh, I remember that.
But I had watched not just Gur's, I wasn't even, like, not only was I there for Gur's first Gur Streams, but I knew him from Gurmania. Like, I had watched Gurmania and his Gur Streams for a while before I ever even said anything. Right? Because it's not just about, like, you, like, as the channel owner, it's about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this isn't the only quote-unquote community I'm on the fringe of.
I haven't seen Gur around in a long time.
Well, his mom made him stop streaming.
Oh.
Just joking. I'm joking there.
He doesn't stream anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I miss Gur streams a lot, but he doesn't stream anymore. And I missed his because if you got there early, you could have sometimes if you got there early, you could have decent discussions before the dumpster fire hit.
Yeah.
You know, kind of best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like his channel. It was one of those channels where people from different walks of life people that held different ideas could go and say what they needed to say or what they wanted to say and join. And sometimes it turned into like just an all-out crazy dumpster fire, but a lot of times it was just a good time.
Well, if you stuck around long enough, you could generally tell when it was going to devolve into a dumpster fire by what combination of people were on the panel.
Yeah, I miss his channel. I joke around with them every time I see him. Me and Spooky do. Spooky does as well. But I do wish he would stream again. But I mean, I get why he kind of stepped away from it. I'm gonna.
I 100% get it.
I'm gonna mute right back.
Okay, I 100% get why he stepped away for a bit. Even if he doesn't come back, like I get it. As much as I miss his streams. You know, and I think people want the dumpster fire though, right?
Well,
I like the part before the dumpster fire. Right? I like when it's just a discussion. But the more I pay attention, the more I see like everybody in the comments, all the gifs they throw out, all the emojis they throw out, the edge of your seat, popcorn, like that's what they wanted. That's what they were waiting for. And that's just not what I want. So,
yeah, I think a lot of people like the dumpster fire. I love a dumpster fire. I'm not gonna lie. I love a good just shitstorm, right? But not every time. Like, it's just not good.
Not every time, and not when you're turning it on your friends over and over again, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it just like the gaslighting of it, right? Like, I'm gonna treat you like shit, but it's okay because we're buddies. No, that doesn't make us fucking buddies.
I think it depends. You know, it depends on the people involved in it that are up on a panel. You know,
I'm not talking about people who are joking around.
That's what I mean. Like a good roasting, you know, like a roasting panel type of dumpster fire, that can be actually quite funny and entertaining. But like when all hell breaks loose on the panel. That's kind of disturbing, actually.
Or when people dogpile for no fucking reason whatsoever,
Yeah.
like not
Yeah,
even a
that's-
serious topic, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Right? Like, you don't get to call me your buddy after that.
Yeah. When people do that, when they're just asking you like a random question, saying, "Hey, what about this?" and then they just like all jump on you, telling you no, you're wrong, or whenever there's a disagreement and even the host is biased and moderates poorly. But let me stop right there. No, I won't stop right there. Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched the Odin Hillary's discussion, or quote unquote discussion.
I still haven't seen that one.
That's terrible.
Which one? Who? Hillary and who?
Do you know who Odin is?
No.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman, Odin. He comes around
Batman.
channels. Yeah. He's a Christian. He hangs around a lot of different channels, and then Hillary's emails. It's around a lot of different channels. I went back and listened to that discussion today, and wow, that was crazy. Poorly moderated by the channel host. And even people, if you go look at the comments on the channel, it says that there are people in the comments that are like, wow, this, Odin was correct. It was poorly moderated.
See, I haven't seen that.
I wish I'd have been. Oh my gosh, I
haven't seen that. You know which one I was referring to when I said it's not even a serious topic.
Yes.
I was referring to the VR headset. Why you gotta jump on me? Because I said I would prefer real travel. The fuck was that about?
Pixie,
and you want me to pretend we're buddies now? Yeah. I got tag team and dogpiled because I said I preferred taking a real trip over a VR headset. I kid you fucking not. And you want to call us buddies? No.
What's crazy is,
wow,
a conversation that turned me off to something. You mentioned a conversation, and it was the same conversation that we heard. Obviously you heard because you're a part of it, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it was the same conversation. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I heard that for a few minutes, just tuned it off. It's like, I'm done with that nonsense. And then I went back and listened to the Odin Hillary's conversation, and yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't get it. Because you were literally, Pixie. You were literally just asked, what would you do? What would you do in this world where AI is, taking over, basically?
No, they said, they were like, if VR could like take you anywhere and have like a real experience. And I was like, oh, well, I think I would still prefer to travel, like I would prefer the real experience of going and like interacting. And they're like, no, you could do it on the VR, and like they're just like jumping over me to tell me I'm wrong. And I'm like, okay, but like you have like the smells, the customs, and they're like, oh no, the smells, the taste, all of it, that's in the VR. And I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, like I know it's VR, right? Like, and they're just like yelling at me about how I'm wrong, and I'm like, no, because at the end of the day, I have to put on the headset.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to take off the headset, right? And I know that I did not do that. I did not travel there. I did not fly in the plane. I did not do these things, right? Like, I know that.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to do the real thing. I kid you not. It was like 10 minutes of them yelling at me and telling me that I was wrong because I prefer to travel over a goddamn VR headset.
Wow.
Like, the stupidest thing ever.
And that's what's weird, is that you were asked, what would you do? And you responded. And instead of asking you why and what reasons that you see would be different, like if you, instead of asking you like, why would you travel when you could have this? It was just like, no, you're wrong. And it was just interruption after interruption and not letting you finish anything. And then telling you that you interrupted. And it was wild to me. And it really reminded me of what like a fundamentalist Christian would do.
And then when I pointed out that I did not interrupt, that I was in fact interrupted multiple times, the host of the channel said that I talked too much.
See, I didn't see that part.
Yeah, and so I'm like, and you think we're buddies? That's cute.
Yeah, see, I got to the part where you were accused of interrupting, and then you were like, I feel like you just kind of, for the sake of conversation, kind of.
I took it the first couple of times. For the first couple of times, yeah.
The first time you were like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, let's keep moving forward. But that was all it took, because I was listening to him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, she's not interrupting anyone. She's just trying to get out a point. And they're just like,
well, that
literally hyenas.
That also came from the same person who asked me a question, and then when I started to answer, started frantically repeating the question over and over as if I wasn't answering anything. Yeah. So, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, if it got that ridiculous over something that stupid, like I'm not there anymore. I don't. That's not where I'm at. That's not. It's not how I want to discuss things. It's just not.
It's. I get that. Because I'm in the same place. Like, I don't need everything to be a debate.
You mean an argument?
Or an
masquerading as a debate, so people can pat themselves on the back for it?
Yeah, well, yeah. When I say debate, I just mean like, I don't need everything that I say to be flipped around and be told, no, you're wrong because of this. You know. You know, I've come across a lot of channels here recently that I don't agree with them on a lot of things. And they don't agree with me on a lot of things. But it's like, we just have this conversation and we just understand where the other person's coming from. And we just have it's a regular conversation.
And that I would rather have. You should send me those links, because I would rather be there.
Yes, yeah, like, no, I need to send you the channel name of who I found recently that, you know, they get a little wooish, but overall, like the channel vibe, they're funny. A lot of the people in chat are funny. They like to laugh. They'll listen to what you say. They'll hear what you say, and yeah, it's just a good time. Even if they don't agree, you know.
I see a lot of like what you just described that happened to you, Pixie. I kind of see that as those people that you encountered are like very immature, as if like they haven't been properly socialized or something.
What is surprising is it's coming from people that I tended to think very, very highly of.
Right,
but that's another reason why I'm like,
But their behavior, though, towards you when they asked you your opinion and then they dogpile on you, that's a very immature, like, it comes from people that have not been properly socialized, right? Like, because as adults, we ought to be able to act cordial and with manners and stuff, even around people that we don't like or disagree with, you know.
I feel like it happened slowly, like to the point where like my shields were going up and up and up and up, and I didn't even realize how far they were raised until somebody pointed it out to me.
Really?
Right? And then I was like, oh shit. Yeah, like it happened slowly enough that I was putting up these walls and these shields before I even knew that I was doing it. And then somebody pointed it out. So I took a step back and I was like, okay, why are my defense mechanisms running so hard? And I think that's why. And maybe I just shouldn't be in that space right now. I don't know, but I would much rather have a discussion. Whatever has been going on lately is not that, though. And
Yeah.
people don't realize, I've said it from the beginning. A, I don't think you understand the other side unless you can argue from the other side. B, I tend to take the least popular idea in the room. C, if I like your ideas, I tend to push against your ideas, not necessarily because I don't agree with you, but because I want to see where your reasoning goes. Two people can hold the same opinion and not have the same reasoning behind that opinion. Does that make sense? But also, if I am up here discussing something and I'm not playing devil's advocate, which I've tried to point out lately, I'm playing devil's advocate, or I'm taking this side of the argument and then I'll take that side of the argument. I've been trying to get better at pointing that out, just for transparency's sake. But not. I don't like to point out all the time when I'm doing it, because sometimes I think that they don't give me their reasoning. But anyway, point is, when I am honestly discussing something, even like with my genuine opinion, even if I am honestly discussing something, it's because it's something I'm wrestling with, right? Like, it's something I'm pondering, it's something I'm considering. It's not because it's something I'm like wholly set on. And I don't think people like understand that either. Like, not everybody you talk to has an opinion that's set in stone, right? Like, they're fleshing out their ideas sometimes. And I just think that the way in which things are being approached more and more so recently is wholly unnecessary and counterintuitive.
Yeah, but why is that though? Why are people acting that way? Like, is there something in the water or what?
No, the bigger the gap between you and the other, the bigger the divide, the louder the clashes. It's easier when you. I think it's easier when you don't have to see the other side as human, or you don't have to understand the other side's perspective or where their perspective came from, right? It's so much easier when you're just like, I'm right and they're wrong, and it's because they're stupid, or because they suck, or because they're brainwashed, or because of this, or because of that, or because, it's I think it's easier. And I think it's easy to point people in that direction, like on a massive level.
Yeah, but it's gotten to the point where if you ask me what my favorite color is, not you like specifically, but I'm just going to use you as an example, right? Like, you ask me what my favorite color is, and I tell you it's blue, and then you tell me I'm wrong. That's where we're at. And that's totally just like, I don't even know what to make of that. Like, people that do shit like that to me, I just turn my back. I just fucking walk away from them.
What you just said sums up basically what I saw recently. Like, asking you what your favorite color is, and then telling you all the reasons why you're wrong.
Right.
And that's what happens a lot on these online streams. And that was yeah. That's what I'm not used to. Like, I think I was used to it for a while, or at least I thought I was, but maybe during that point in time, it was cool, but like now, I'm just past that. Let's talk from behind a screen and tell you you're wrong for this reason. It's not even a huge thing. It's like, let me ask you this small question, and then let me tell you why you're wrong as soon as you answer.
I don't mind telling people they're wrong, or that they haven't thought something through, or anything like that, right? Like it's just the level of venom with which it's done. And I'm with you. Like, I thought I was okay with it, right? It wasn't until somebody pointed out how like extra defensive I was that I was like, why am I so extra defensive? And then I was like, oh, maybe that's why I'm so extra defensive.
But Pixie, if you were gonna, okay, so let's say you asked me, okay, well, let's take that AI, let's take the traveling thing that happened, right? And you're like, what are you gonna do with this? And then I said, I'm just gonna travel. Would you tell me I'm wrong and give me reasons why I'm wrong? Or would you ask me more questions about why I feel that way?
I'd probably ask you, I'd either ask you more questions or I'd ponder both sides very deeply. And even if I disagreed with you, I think I'd manage to say something like, well, I understand that if you have the means to do it, but would you agree at least that it would be a great asset for people who do not have the means to travel?
Yeah.
And then I would say, of course, educationally, all of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, at least that progresses the conversation forward. It kind of moves things in a positive direction. Like, in that specific example, you were just told flat out, no, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. Or, this is already going to do this. There was no question. I don't know. I'm sorry. That conversation still bothers me.
I think in some ways that conversation bothers you more than it bothered me.
It did. It probably does bother me more than it bothers you. Because I wish I'd have been there, like when it was live. Yeah, it does bother me a lot. The conversation with you bothers me a lot. The conversation of Odin and Hillary's email bothers me a lot.
Odin just
it tells me
right
yeah, Odin's in the chat, but it tells me a lot about a lot about people, how they react to stuff, and how they engage.
Well, I don't want to go. It does and it doesn't, because like I said, I didn't even realize how defensive I had become until somebody pointed it out, right? And it took somebody pointing it out for me to be like, am I? And then I am, and then why? And then
Well, maybe that's true. Maybe you are. But in that specific scenario, it was valid.
No, it wasn't then. It was before then. But I think that scenario taught me that even being aware of it isn't going to stop my shields from coming up in that scenario. Like, I can be aware of it and I can be aware of why I'm being defensive. But if you stick me in that scenario for too long, my shields are going to come out, even if I don't want them to. That's what that situation taught me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not there yet.
In that situation, the shield should have came out because it was just unwarranted. It was I don't know. The whole stream was just a clusterfuck, but.
maybe I'm just not there yet, and maybe there's a reason I'm on the fringe of the communities, right? Maybe I just don't fit.
Maybe I just don't fit. Yeah, that is yeah. I jump around from community to community because I feel like a misfit in a lot of places.
And I take note of things that people think I don't take note of. I'm more observant than people think. Like, did you know that there is a particular person who comes in every now and then, but never stays unless somebody else is here? And the only time they have ever joined my panel is if that other person joined my panel first.
Really?
Yeah. And they leave after this person, but they say we're friends. Isn't that interesting?
Just 1 second, Pixie.
That is interesting.
Yes, and that's not the only weird thing, right? I don't know. I pay attention to the little things. I really do. And those little things can add up, especially when those little things are shady, shady, shady.
Check Google Chat real quick.
Maybe that person's just shy.
No, that person.
Maybe not.
It's a recent development. That person used to be more present than they are.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, among other things, like people have just been really weird. Like people that I thought I could be friends with were really weird and shady, and then the people who I ended up friends with surprised me quite a bit. It's been an interesting ride so far.
Well, I hope I never.
Oh, please, you are one of my
Cheers.
friends, and I don't want to. That's not a negotiable bond.
Okay. Well, yeah.
We're gonna meet in like a month, so
Yeah, it's
there's no going back.
When is it? Let's see, a month and a half.
Yeah.
Month
Yeah.
and a half.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
no going back. No going back now.
I won't finish what I was about to say.
Fair enough. I never disliked you, Bond. You were aloof enough. I didn't think we'd become friends. I'll put it that way. Distant enough.
Yeah. I can be a little weird.
No, you're just you're very private. You're a very private person.
I'm very private, yes.
And so there's like a lot of distance that has to be crossed, right? Like
Yeah, there's.
And that's fine. Look, I have insane trust issues. The only difference between me and you is I come across approachable. And so people feel like we're friends. There are people who are like, "Oh, this is my best friend," and I'm like, "When did we cross the line from acquaintances to friends? Much less best friends, right?" Like,
Yeah.
I appear much more open than I am because I am very extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do appear less friend. Oh,
of course we're friends, Batman. Sorry.
People think that I don't know how to. I'm very mysterious and to myself unless I open up to you. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I open up to you, I open up to you. But for the outside of that, I just I keep this weird like shell
arm's length. Yeah, it's like keep them at arm's length. You gotta stay out of the bubble. Yeah.
I keep people out of reach, like out of arm's reach, so they can't do anything to me. I guess they can't reach my face, or reach me. And I keep that distance in real life when I'm around people, and then online as well. I keep this. I do keep this like shield out of arm's reach. That's what I always say. There's very few people that I remove that online. Yeah, and in person. Even in person, I don't remove that. A lot of people, the majority of people in person, they're kept at arm's length from me.
I am the same way. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have very many friends. And if I count you as one of my friends, that was incredibly hard one. So congrats, I guess.
No, that's yeah. There was a song that I used to listen to a lot. It was called Acquaintances, Not Friends. And it was basically, the guy was saying, as a rapper, he was basically saying, all you people are just acquaintances. There's only a few select that are friends. And, when that song came out, I gravitated to it. And I didn't know why at the time, I guess. Maybe I'm discovering that more now. But yeah, I keep people at arm's length away, just like I would.
I think we're all like that, more or less, to some extent. Though, like we each have our inner circle of
I think
very, very close friends, and then as those circles go out, your friends get less and less close.
I mean, I guess, but I wouldn't even put it that. First of all, I grew up moving around. I didn't grow up in one place, so I don't have like these childhood connections that people have. I mean, I do, but they're very distant, right? Like I don't have like my best friend that I grew up with, or I don't hang out like with the people I hung out with in the 4th grade. Like I don't have that. Second of all, my longest lasting friendships have let's see, at work, there are about 10 to 15 people who will not only tell you that I am their friend, but that we are best friends. Do you know how many people at work I consider my friend?
I'm going to say
None.
one.
None, maybe one.
I have one. I have one friend at work. One. And we hang out with a lot of mutual people. I have fun with those mutual people. They are great acquaintances. I only have one friend at work. One.
I answered one because you mentioned you went to an event.
I went to my friend's wedding, my coworker's wedding.
Yeah.
That is my one friend at work. You are correct.
That's why I said one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one friend at work.
Mm-hmm. I remember you saying you were going to the wedding, and it was a person at work, and that's why I said one.
Yeah, and I was super excited to go to his wedding, and his bride was absolutely gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
It was so cute, and she comes to our get-togethers now. Well, she started coming when they were dating before she was like engaged, but you can tell like she's starting to feel like part of the group now, and it's all cute. It's all cute. She's getting all bubbly and it's adorable.
I think you never mind, I won't say it here.
He's got his shields up.
No, it's not about my shields. I'm just extra careful.
You think I posted a picture or something? Probably.
I'm just extra careful about pictures that I'm passing, and then so I don't repeat that stuff, and I almost did. So, but I catch myself.
We've got to get together soon. It's been a while. He's been extra busy. I've been extra busy. His girl has been extra busy. We all need to like catch up sometime soon. He messaged me the other day at work though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, it's been a minute. What are you up to? When are we getting together?" And I was like, "Oh man, we should do that, huh? We haven't had therapy night in a while." So that's what we call the night we go out and grab drinks.
Wow, I cannot spell.
It used to be every payday Friday. That was therapy night. We'd leave the office and go get drinks before going home.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't been in the office in years and years. So then we just started randomly meeting up.
Yeah. Work from home.
Oh, yes. And I never, ever, ever want to go back.
Well,
they met like a year. No, a year or 2 years in. They messaged me and they were like, "Hey, is this good?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is good." They were like, "Hey, do you want to come back to the office?" And I was like, "Hell no." And they were like, "Really? You're awfully extroverted." And I was like, "Yeah, but I can be just as extroverted through my chat over here. We can meet up for meetings. We can meet up for special events, for strategy stuff, for all that. We can just rent a conference room. But here, right, I have endless lattes, endless cappuccinos, and a pool." And my manager laughed and she was like, "Fair point." And she said, "You don't have to come back in." And I said, "That's great."
I work kind of from home, I guess. Maybe. Depends.
As a matter of fact, I'm not even geographically locked. I can move anywhere. The only thing is I have to give them enough heads up for them to be able to work my payroll correctly for the country or the state I'm in.
Yeah, that's a good position to be in, where you have that freedom to move around.
I can move to Belize tomorrow and keep my job.
Do they give you a corporate computer, or do you have to use your own equipment?
So they give you everything except you can choose not to use it. Like I chose not to use the 2 monitors they got me because I have this huge monitor that I like more. They do give you the laptop, they give you speaker, they give you all kinds of shit. If you quit, the only thing they ask for back is the work laptop.
Nice.
And the work cell phone if you have one. Those are the only 2 things they ask for back.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they supply everything, yes.
Odin is here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, dude?
Dude, man, I wish I'd have been there live. Sorry,
Wait, what?
That bothers me, man.
Oh, the other day.
Yeah. I've been wanting to talk to you about that because that does bother me, man.
I still haven't seen it, but you guys can talk about it.
I went back and watched it, and
you went back and see it? Oh, okay.
yeah, I wasn't so. I was there maybe towards the end or after it. I don't remember. For there's reasons why I don't remember, but
You're
I was
old.
commenting, and I didn't really hear the conversation, but I went back and listened to it recently, and I say recent, like today, I guess, or yesterday, I don't remember, but yeah, that bothered me when I was listening to it. I was like, oh, I was clenching my fist. I was like punching the air, during certain parts.
Dude, you're doing shadow boxing?
Yes. Yes, I was, dude. I was. That I don't know what it just bothered me. I think it might have been. It was just the topic, and not even just the topic, but just like the overall. If you're coming from the position he was, it just says a lot more than just that specific topic. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I can understand why, he would why he's inclined to take the approach, but I'm like, okay, like that's fine, but that's not really addressing the original point that we made, in the first place.
Anything. Yeah.
It doesn't address anything. So it's like, all I really want is, just addressing, just one thing, and for whatever reason, it's like, it's been pretty angry. At that point, I was kind of fed up, because it all started from the happy chat, really.
Quote unquote happy chat.
Yeah. And yeah.
It just seemed like his entire basis was, I didn't say what about, so I didn't use the what about. I wasn't using this fallacy, right? I wasn't doing whataboutism because I didn't say the specific words. Even though his entire argument, his entire response was, he saw what you said, and then he moved it to something different.
Yeah, it's shifting the goalposts.
Yeah, well, he saw what you said, and then he said, well, this already happened during this part. He didn't say like, yeah, but what about in the past? And that it seemed like that's what his entire thing.
Yeah.
His entire foundation was on. He didn't say the specific words. Yes, but what about?
And I never said it as like an insult or anything like that. It was just something that I kind of, that I noticed, and I was like this is something that you do regularly, and it's kind of hard to have a conversation if you do this type of thing regularly. So,
yeah, and I mean, it's this thing that I've noticed with a lot of, unfortunately, now that I look at it and listen, a lot of people that I've interacted online with, it's like they do this thing where they see a statement or they hear a statement that doesn't necessarily call out specific people or specific political sides, but they feel the need to just jump in randomly and defend a specific side. So like, especially with like the whole Elon thing, whenever he did his little awkward gesture, salute, whatever.
oh yeah, I remember that.
I still don't think he was trying to salute, but that's beside
Okay.
But people on both sides did get extraordinarily angry about other people.
Okay, so Pixie, you don't think he necessarily did that, right?
Right.
But you're not you're not hearing these things and saying, but here's the Democrats that did this, right?
I understand why people would make the assumption they made, and I also understand the amount of fear that's in the population. I don't think it's a stretch, right? I don't think it's crazy for your mind to go there. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was intentional on his behalf, though.
I mean, that's a fair, reasonable response, right? Like, it wasn't his intention. It happened. Maybe it wasn't a good look, you know. But it's this weird thing that I've been seeing here lately with things like that, where people just, how do I put this? Maybe the criticism isn't necessarily on your party is doing this thing. It's just like this person is doing this thing, and then they're just automatically flipping it and trying to turn it towards a specific political party, right?
Well, I think both sides did that, though. That's why I said people got extraordinarily mad at people. It's easy to focus on one side, especially when you sympathize with the other. And that's why I drive both sides crazy, because I don't like one-way streets. And what happened was, before the right, we're going to be fair here, before the right went all crazy with their, see, look how crazy the left is. Look how crazy the left is. It was the left who said, they didn't just say Elon did this. They said, look, I told you, the right are all Nazis. Well, how do you think they were going to come back nice after that? No, of course not. Like, it is definitely a both sides thing. It's an us versus them thing on both sides of that line.
It is. It is both sides thing, but
I mean, that's not even really the point, right? Like, for me, it's just like this adversarial approach.
Yeah, no,
like, kind of threw me off. It was like, dude, like, you know,
yeah, everywhere. Exactly.
You know?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. It's so pervasive that it's not just everywhere. Like, I'm seeing it in places I never thought I'd see it, is the thing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to say that was your point. That was just that was all me, how I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to put that on.
Put on your glasses, bro.
Like,
no, I think you see things. I think you see things fine, right? Like, I get where you're going, and is to the point of your argument. You're actually in what is being discussed at the moment. You are correct. I was just throwing it out there that it's pretty contentious on both sides of those lines.
Yeah, no, it is. Trust me, both sides, two claws of the same vulture, right? I'm not defending either side. I'm just saying, in that specific situation, Odin was bringing a certain point, and Hillary's he basically was like, he tried to hide behind this thing. Well, I didn't say these specific words, so it's not this fallacy that I'm using. And but whenever you look at the overall theme of it, he did try to just flip it and say, well, what about it? It already happened. So why are you talking about right now whenever it already happened then? And then whenever you ask for evidence of it, his basic thing was just trust me, bro. Like, that was the only evidence he brought of it. He couldn't provide anything. He couldn't provide any like written documents or anything that backed up the claim. The only thing that was provided was from somebody in the chat, and it didn't even back up what Hillary said. It was just like some random somebody's opinion on what should be done or what could be done. It just, I don't know, man. It's just, it wasn't a good look for Hillary's.
I haven't watched it. And I'm sure there's people who agree and there's people who don't agree. I just, like I said earlier, I'm not in the space that I was when I first entered the fringes of this community. And I'm just kind of over parts of it. I'm
with you right there. But every now and then I see stuff that happens with people that I get along with, I like. So I take notice to it.
I think it's all sad. I think when even the people who used to disagree in a very friendly manner because they understood they had common ground, when even that devolves into endless jokes and name calling and taunts, where does anybody fit at that point, really?
I think my issue, I think there are some people out there that would be okay with me being questioned, randomly stopped, questioned, and then detained.
What?
And like I say, so I think so. Some people out there that I used to think highly of and used to be friends with, I think they would be okay with me illegally being detained, questioned, and
hello.
What's up, Midnight? And Odin I think Odin might be able to fill me on this.
Well, I wouldn't be cool with that if somebody tried to do that shit to you.
Vaughn,
Vaughn, you remember that joke? I did it.
Which joke?
That damn it. Damn, what did I say again? It was about the same thing, but I was being tongue in cheek about it. And I was like, okay, bro. Wait till you see.
Like we joke, like Odin, me and you recently have kind of like, I feel like we've kind of come a little bit closer. You know what I mean?
Embrace twinity, bro.
Yeah, embrace the twinity. But like I don't know how to say this. So I love some racial comedy. I love that stuff. I do it all the time and in everyday life and online. But I do it to everyone. But there's people out there that only point it towards certain people. And, that just gives me a bad feeling. Like, I think there are people that I have thought I might be kind of close with online that would be okay with me being like stopped, pulled over, questioned, detained, illegal, just based off of certain skin tones. You get what I'm
Just
saying?
based on you're talking about racial profiling.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with the police getting out of line with anybody in this country at all.
Yeah, no, I think I knew that about you a long time ago. Whenever I said I was making like something for somebody was buying something for me, and it had something to do with the police, and you mentioned something about them, like you were, you raised the eyebrow to it.
Well, yeah, and I mean I've got personal experience with that shit too. I was racially profiled as a white guy driving through what was deemed as a black neighborhood at the time. I was coming from some friends who actually lived in that neighborhood, and the cops pulled me over because they saw a white guy driving in that neighborhood, and that's the only reason they pulled me over. And I grew up in that town. All right, it's like my stomping grounds, and it was these new cops, younger than me. And he walks up to the car and he's literally like, "Do you know where you are? Do you know what kind of neighborhood you are in?" And I'm just like, I was fucking pissed, man. I hauled off on that cop, yelling at him, why is you racial, why are you racially profiling me and stuff? But I grew up in this fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, that type of shit really fucking pisses me off, man. When the cops do that shit.
I've lived enough places to know racism goes all ways.
Oh yeah, it does. And with the cops, I mean, they're way out of control in this country right now.
Okay, a controversial take here. I think that's more of a class warfare. Do certain demographics get targeted more than others? Yes, but I think that's because there are more of that demographic in a particular class range. I don't think what the cops are doing has anything to do with it. I think it has more to do with class than it has to do with skin tone. And
it shouldn't,
and a lot of, and I think the focus on skin tone is because that's what we as a population focus on. I mean,
right, but it shouldn't have.
You look at all the people
it shouldn't have to do with any of that, though.
I know,
right?
but the media helps with that too. How many media outlets reported on what happened to Daniel Shaver? And why did they not? Because he was white? Because he was white when the cops execute him crawling down the hallway of a hotel room? Is that why they didn't report it?
The only place I saw that was on YouTube. That's the only place
why
I
didn't
heard
they report
about
it? Why didn't they report it? Is it because Daniel Shaver was a poor white guy? And he's not the only one that they didn't report. They will go into poverty-stricken neighborhoods, absolutely, and they justify it by saying that because more crime happens in these areas, they have to police harder there. But if you want to get technical, I think it is a class thing. Although I do understand where Bond is coming from because of recent policies.
But policy isn't law.
Yeah, but policy is being portrayed as law.
Yeah, it is.
In the public.
But it still isn't law, though, at the end of the day.
But that's the thing. That's the thing is like people don't know their rights. They don't know.
That's the problem.
And so whenever it's put out there that this policy is law, and the people enforcing it come at you, and you don't know that, that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, and there's more of a problem too, because you've got a lot of citizens that don't know their rights, that think that the policy's law, and then they go and they start snitching out their neighbors, or they'll run up to you and be like, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" Well, because it's not a law that I have to wear a mask.
I think the
you know what I mean?
People, I think the majority of the people in this country don't know their rights. They don't know the law, and they just and they just assume that the people enforcing it have their best interest in hand.
Can
I
I
think
just
that's what the
say
problem is.
that I got what's the term again? Finger wanged. That's the correct term.
Finger wanged. What's that mean?
I've never heard that.
What, like
Scolded.
like when somebody's like
Scolded,
wagging
when
their
somebody
finger.
wags, yeah, scolded.
Oh, like a
Scolded.
tisk
Yeah.
tisk type of thing.
Yeah, there was two situations where that happened. One of them was in Missing Mods stream. What was in the stream was after the stream when I got invited by someone in a private thing to talk, right? And the comment that that was made towards me was, you know, that the person was complaining about was it was the lyrics from a song from a Jamaican artist. It basically says like this, you'll never know that you're really secure until the problems of the poor come and kick down your door. Right? And it was in a conversation where they were talking about the dude that killed the insurance CEO, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, someone was not happy.
I think the guy that killed the CEO was a fucking moron. It didn't change anything.
No.
In 2 years, people are not going to remember that guy's name without Googling him, right? People, hold on. In 2 years, people will not remember his name without Googling him. They won't. People will forget, and people will move on because people have short-term memories. In the meantime, what did it change? Not a damn thing. What did the new CEO said? Nothing's changing. What is the new CEO doing? Using the same AI. So what? How is he not stupid? He threw his entire life away for what? For what? He changed nothing. He did nothing, and he's going to be another forgettable footnote. How is that not stupid?
Yeah, but my ultimate point at the end of the day was like, listen, just like in every like culture and country, like if the wealth divide, if how people are treated,
Sure, that's a revolution, that's a revolution, not an assassination. Those are two different things.
No, I know that, but typically, right, like that's how it normally starts, right? Where someone gets really pissed, does something drastic, and they either get martyred or, everyone is like,
no, it's a bit, you can tell by the response of the people. Right, and you can tell by the response of the people pretty immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
When hold on, when the nobleman when the nobleman got assassinated before the French Revolution, right? The people felt so vindicated that they rallied. They had a whole list of fucking nobles to go after. We are going together. When Lincoln was assassinated, his vice president became president. Same with Garfield, same with JFK, right? Assassination and revolution, two different things. Did he create a revolution? No. He became a forgettable footnote for an assassination of a CEO. Not even somebody history is going to remember very well. And I think he's stupid.
Well, what happened? Did anything happen with other companies? With other health?
Oh no, the other CEOs basically beefed up their security.
well, yeah. I mean, they beef up the
no, that's what I'm saying. Nothing. A couple of them ran a PR campaign while changing nothing behind the scenes. The new CEO who took the place of the CEO who was assassinated said that the policies weren't changing and are currently using the same AI system that the guy was killed over. It's not a leader. The people did not rally and go after more CEOs. They might have said, sure, I kind of agree or I kind of don't agree, but nobody rallied. It's not a revolution. It's a forgettable assassination, and not even of a political figure, of another forgettable figure.
Can somebody explain to me, because I don't know, This is the first time I've heard that it's been over some sort of AI system. What exactly? Can
So,
somebody explain that to me?
So they have this policy that they just reject a certain percentage of claims outright, and they make people come back and fight for it. But in order to get creative and find ways to deny claims and things like that, they had an AI system helping them out. Like A, automatically denying claims, and B, finding reasons to deny claims, making people fight harder, like all of that stuff. It's the reason, it's what helps. It's a system that helps people like cancer patients, things like that. They get their treatments denied. They get their health coverage denied. They say, we don't think this is that like we don't think that this is necessary for the life of the patient. And the doctor's like, but I recommended this because I think it's fucking necessary, right? And it's this whole back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it pisses a lot of people off. And
Wow.
it's a very corrupt thing. And so that was the topic that was brought up when this CEO was assassinated, and people were saying that, it was kind of justifiable or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, another CEO replaced him. This is not a political figure. It's not a name people are going to remember. People are not going to remember the guy who killed him. And nothing was changed and nothing was done for a pointless assassination. And that's my point.
So they're using that AI just in like that one hospital or that one, I guess.
It's just like they say AI. I'm not even sure. That's what everybody kept using. I'm not even sure if it is AI. It's an automated system is what it is.
Yeah. That's basically what it is.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of that until today.
Yeah, I don't think it's like actually AI like we think of it now. It's just like it's like an automated system, almost like a really, really fancy macro.
But I mean, listen, the way how I kind of view this stuff is, once people are gonna get hungry to the point where, the distractions are not gonna be enough, and that's most likely when you'll see something happen. When people realize that they can't, it's like, it's better for me to be able to afford to buy like, food and pay my bills and stuff like that, right?
We'd have to
Before I
stop
stop
fighting.
caring about skin color and stuff like that and social issues.
We'd have to start fighting. We'd have to stop fighting each other first.
Oh yeah, that's when we'll stop. That's what I'm saying.
Only temporarily. See, and I think that's why I'm so cynical about the human race. I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it best when they asked, what would it take for the human race to like come together, right? To think of itself as the human race.
Reagan.
And his response was absolutely beautiful. He said, the only way we will ever come together as a human race is if an outside force comes for us and decides we are all one race. But even then, the sentiment will only last as long as the threat, because once you defeat that threat, we will begin to divide ourselves again. And I think that's true.
Invasion.
Right, but only so far as the aliens are here, right? Once you defeat the aliens and the aliens are gone, we're just gonna start dividing ourselves again. Divide.
Well, they're getting practice on the illegal ones. Okay, that's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, Dean, really? Come on, man.
Don't deport me.
Oh, hey, Bond, I have a question for you. I didn't hear the entire thing, but what were you talking about Hillary's before? A stream or something?
Okay, wait.
I was saying Hillary's.
Hold on.
Bullshit.
Guys, I get that we have frustrations and complaints, but this is not going to be a jump on and bash somebody's stream because that is
Okay.
one of the things I am very disappointed in at the moment.
My apologies.
Never mind then.
Yeah,
Thank
Midnight,
you.
don't be toxic.
Well, I'm always
Yeah.
talking.
Midnight, don't try to drag me into that stuff.
Well, you were talking about it when I came in, so I figured I'd ask.
Well, he and Odin addressed some conversations or addressed some issues that they had with a conversation that Odin participated in. I have not heard the conversation yet, so I let those two talk about it, and I did not participate. However, this is not going to be a gossip bash on somebody's stream.
To be fair, I didn't say anything negative about him. I just kept it to what was said in the conversation.
Fair enough. Forget I asked.
I kept it strictly to what was said between Odin and Hillary's.
Hey, okay, the gist of it is there are some frustrations about how a particular conversation between Odin and Hillary's was handled. Not just by Hillary's, apparently, but by the actions of the moderator.
See,
All right. Fair
yeah.
enough. Thank you.
And moving on, I could have went in harder with no lube, but I didn't. So I was calm. I was collected.
I know, I just don't want to devolve there.
Yeah, no, I get it. But you're right, Odin. So Midnight, how you been?
Oh, I've been all right. Just chilling.
That's good. Or I should say Iron Man.
Yes.
When the hell did you become Tony Stark?
I mean, I've always been Tony stuck at heart.
I said instead of Tony Stark, I said Tony Snark.
You did. I caught that.
My bad.
So Batman is a ripoff Temu version of Tony Stark.
Exactly.
I'll throw that out there.
I mean, I'm older.
I
You may
mean,
be older, but
technically, yes. Batman came out in like 1939. Iron Man in like 1960. I don't know.
No, that doesn't.
Hey, you know
Really
what?
comic
You know
book.
what? Everybody on this panel is older than Google.
You're right.
Yeah, I actually.
Really? Why you gotta do that, bro?
I amazed Super Munchkin with that one time. She was like, "Well, she was looking something up, and she was like, I love Google," and I was like, "I do too." I remember not having Google, and her eyes got real big. She was little. She was like, "You didn't have Google?" And I was like, "No, I am older than Google." And she was like, "You're older than Google?" I was like, "Yeah, I had encyclopedias and a library."
Right.
They explained it about the card catalog in the Dewey Decimal System sometime.
Yeah, right.
So why your eyes get?
She actually knows about it because I love to read, and she loves to read probably partly because I love to read. So we were all about the library when she was younger.
That's cool. Yeah.
Now I practically have my own library. That's beside the point.
Send me
Oh,
some.
Midnight! I still gotta send you some books.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that.
I pulled Contagious off of my shelf, and I have it ready to be boxed. I've just gotta find a couple of more books to go with it, so I'm not shipping it alone. But I did pull Contagious for you, which
Thank
is
you.
one of the
That sounds
psychology.
familiar. Did they make a movie out of that?
No, it's not a fiction book. It's not from my fiction section. It's Why Things Catch On. Like, it's a psychology book.
Oh, it's like a psychology book.
Yeah, I had this one, and I think I was looking for Why We Listen to
Jesus,
What
that sounds
They...
familiar to me, though.
Yeah, I was looking for Why We Listen to What They Say to go with it because I got them together, but I think I might have given that one to somebody else because I'm not seeing it in my psychology section at the moment. So I might pull something from like the history section and like something from the fiction section or something like that. Maybe the philosophy section. I don't know. You can't have my Hume or my Machiavelli though. And you can't have the Plato of Republic till after the book club gets done with it. but I can find a different one.
Basically, midnight beggars can't be choosers.
I'm not complaining.
Just in case.
Not choosers.
What kind of books? What kind of fiction, though? Like, are you more like Stephen King and Dean Koontz, or more like John Grisham and Tammy Hogue? More like,
I mean, I've only,
Marcus Zusak.
I mean, I've only ever read books from Stephen King or Dean Koontz. I didn't really read books from those other people you mentioned.
What is the guy? Something Forest.
I used to read a lot of books when I was a kid. I don't read books too much anymore. I've read I like the science fiction and some of the Stephen King, but
So
I was more into
you-
science fiction, like Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. I've read that, all the Hobbit books.
So you would be this section. You would be this section over here. Let's see who's in this section. Brian Loomy, Terry Brooks, Robert Jordan, Orson Scott Card, R.A. Salvatore, J.R.R. Tolkien, Marvin Kaye, Ken Sheffield, and
Or
L.
war
Frank
novels too.
Baum. Oh no, war makes me hate people. I don't go there. Like no, when I say war makes me hate people, I mean it. Like, I don't watch war movies. Like, my dad used to wake up screaming in Vietnamese.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, my dad was a Marine sniper, and he was an MP, and he was on the rescue teams and stuff like that. And most of the stories, there's one story from when he was a sniper that absolutely terrifies me, but most of the stories that really like stick with me vividly are actually stories from when my dad was on the rescue team. And the screams and the absolute terror he would wake up in at night, screaming in Vietnamese. I would have to wake him up. And at first, his PTSD was so bad. The reason my parents had to split up when I was really young the first time, the reason we didn't live with my dad when I was really young, is not just because he was overcoming an addiction that the military gave him, because they decided it was a great idea to feed him cocaine after he got shot.
What?
Yeah. When he got shot on a rescue mission, they needed to keep him alert and out of pain. What do you think they gave him? They gave him coke. Anyway, not only was he battling all of that, but his PTSD was so bad that like my mom would have to get all the kids out of the room and poke my dad with a broom to wake him up, because he would wake up in a snap kick. I've had stories of him, like my mom walking him through dreams while he was on top of my mom, like ready to snap her neck. So every time I see, like, every time I get into like war stuff, like I truly honestly believe that war is like the lowest of humanity, and it really fucks with my head. And I hate people, and I don't want to interact with people, and I don't want to talk to people, and I just want to be by myself. Like it really fucks with my head. I can't do it, to the point where after years and years of me telling people I cannot do the war thing, I finally watched a war movie with somebody, and
Which movie?
I will never. What was it? They were in a tank a lot. I know that.
Fury?
I think so, yeah. And like I cried. I like not just cried, like I ugly cried through like the whole thing. And then I got like really, really like depressed, but like hated people at the same time. And I didn't talk to anybody for like 3 days. Like literally, like I didn't even want to talk to anybody for like 3 or 4 days before I could like start coming. Like it really fucks with me. I do not do war stuff.
Stuff can be pretty traumatic.
It can be.
Oh, I just
people handle it differently too. You know,
I
some
can't.
people can handle it. Some people just can't handle it.
It takes me back to those stories from my dad.
And my dad is the reason I didn't join the military. Thank God.
Was your dad in Nam?
I was one signature away from joining the Air Force. One signature away. And my dad like pulled me out of the room and begged me and begged me and begged me. And he said, look, I know you won't see combat. A linguist will never see combat. A strategist will never see combat. Whichever side you choose, you will not see combat. But I will tell you this. If you do this, you will never be you again. Not ever. There's no coming back. You will never be you again. Please don't do this. And like he was like crying. And so he's the reason I didn't join the military. I was going to join the Air Force. And he's right. He probably saved me in a lot of ways that day.
I've never been of the mindset of joining. Oh my goodness, these animals are so awesome.
Have you guys ever heard of a book called Johnny Got His Gun?
No.
It's a war book. It's about is it about World War I or World War II? I forget. But I have a copy of the original printing of that novel. The newer printings of that novel, they changed the ending of that book because the whole story. I'll just ruin it for you. The whole story is it's about the soldier. He got blown up by a landmine. Lost. It's what that song by Metallica "One" is about. It's about that book. Johnny Got His Gun, and at the end, the guy's laying in the hospital. He can't talk. He can't see. You know, he's lost his arms and legs. He's just a lump of meat. You know.
Oh, like that Metallica song where he's like, kill me.
That is what that song is about. That Metallica song "One" is about the book Johnny Got His Gun. And at the end, he's using his head to communicate with Morse code to the nurses, and he is
kill him.
No, he's begging the nurses to put him on display publicly so that the people can see what war does to people. And they refused to put him on display. His last request was to be put on display so that people could see the result of war.
You know what? I just realized
they changed the end of that book. Yeah. And they took all that part of it out of the book. And there's a movie about it too. And I think the ending of the movie, they also didn't have that part of the book in it. But I've got an original copy of it, and the ending's totally different.
Now that you say that, okay, the one semi-war book I could read, I think the reason I could stomach it is because it's fictionalized, right? I always say I love horror. I love horror because horror is a safer way to deal with real life atrocities, in my opinion. You can make it not, you can pretend it's not human, right? And so there's one science fiction series that I think did a really good job with that. And it is by Orson Scott Card. The first book of the series is called Ender's Game.
I've seen that movie.
No, the movie was shit. And it cut out most of the good parts of the book, which absolutely baffles me. But that's beside the point. In Ender's Game, they have these, okay, each family can only have 2 children. Or it's one child, or it's 1 or 2 children, I can't remember. Anyway, that's why Ender is different, by the way. Ender is a 3rd child. Now, and there's a reason he's a 3rd child, and we'll get there. So the government is trying to find somebody with just enough strategic brilliance to command this army against an alien threat, an alien invasion that had attacked Earth, right? Mm-hmm. So Ender's parents produce a boy, and the boy is too big of a psychopath. He has like no compassion, and so they decide that he's not the right person. And they get to have another kid, and they have a little girl, and the little girl is too compassionate and too soft. But they think that if they could get somebody between these two kids, that they'll have the right kind of person. And so they allow this couple to have a third child. That is, his name is Andrew Wiggins, but everybody ends up calling him Ender. Now, Ender gets taken off to this academy. He gets taken from his parents. He gets taken off to this academy. They're automatically put into they have to solve these very rigorous puzzles. They're put into these very rigorous strategy exercises. You have teams, you have all this stuff's going on. They put you in computer simulations, all kinds of stuff's going on. Ender's team, and he's the captain, is doing fantastic. They are beating the older kids. They are beating their own age group. They are just flying through this. They're putting them in simulations. They're doing a great job. People start getting really nervous around these simulations, and Ender can't figure out why until they beat a particularly hard simulation that everybody was having trouble beating. And it comes out that this whole time, it was never games. They were literally commanding armies, and Ender just sealed the fate of an entire alien civilization. Like, just wiped this alien civilization off.
Committed xenocide or whatever it's called.
Right. Okay. Then you get into the other books. You have Xenocide, which is okay. Ender's Shadow is really, really good. And that's about Bean, who was a experiment from the day he was born. He grows faster than the other kids, but he will never stop growing. He's ridiculously smart, and this will kill him. He's so smart and so abnormally developed that he was 2 years old when he escaped a research facility where all the kids his age were being killed. Anyway, that's a particularly good story. And then the other one is Speaker for the Dead. And the reason I like Speaker for the Dead is because I think it shows a lot of human characteristics and what humans do. So in Speaker for the Dead, Ender, is this revered figure because he won this war, and he's on this ship, and he's traveling, and he's trying to maintain a very, very low profile. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, he has received an egg, like a larva egg, from the alien species. And this alien species has basically communicated with him telepathically, how they communicate with each other, because this alien species is insect-like. Let's remember that. So that they basically tell him, the species basically tells him, like, when we attacked you, we didn't know we were attacking intelligent life, right? We all think in a hive mind. We all think connected. We can read each other. And you guys, you don't have any of this connection. You don't have any of that. And you seemed to be just these separate fumbling little things. And so we attacked. And when we realized that you were sentient, that you were actually beings, we backed off. And you chased us, and we're not asking for forgiveness. We're asking for like a chance to survive, and we entrust you with this. So unbeknownst to everybody else, while everybody's, like running with the propaganda mill, like, oh, we did such a great job, and we did this, and we did that, he is actually being like eaten up inside. And he is searching for a world where he can send this larvae full of eggs, this egg full of larvae, so that this species can have a home. And it's just like this really interesting like double take, and I think it's something humans do naturally.
That sounds pretty goddamn interesting.
Yeah, it does. That sounds like a good series.
It is a good series. Orson Scott Card is a very good writer. A writer I particularly enjoy reading. However, if we ever sat in the same room together, I might make it 5 or 10 minutes before I wanted to punch him in the face.
Why?
Well, first of all, okay, so I didn't know this until I bought a book. No, I didn't buy it. It was a gift. That's right. I got a gift, and it was a special edition of Maps in the Mirror. Now, Maps in the Mirror is a huge collection of short stories. by Orson Scott Card. And the reason this is a special edition collection book is because behind some of these stories are these snippets that tell you the inspiration he used to what inspired that story, right? And some of them were pretty interesting. I was really getting into it. Like I read this one story about how like everybody who takes like this guy is in this accident and he notices in this accident that he's in that everybody who died in this accident happened to breathe in and breathe out at the exact same time right before the accident happened. Like they shared this breathe in and breathe out connection. And
Interesting.
so he goes through this story and he starts noticing this in little places. And then he notices that he's in this group one time and he inhales and exhales with a number of people around him. And he's like, oh shit. And he does die. And the inspiration behind that story was that he had seen his wife and his baby kid sleeping together. And he marveled at the fact that they would breathe in and breathe out at the same time. And he thought that is an amazing symbol of like the connection of life, right? And so then he just decided to flip it. Well, what if it wasn't a symbol of life? What if it was a symbol of death? And that's how he wrote his story. That's all well and good. But you start getting to more and more stories, and then his fundamentalist Mormon thinking starts coming out. And you're like, I really want to punch you right now, but we're going to keep going.
Wow.
Like he compared gay people to murderers and rapists, which I thought was uncalled for, you know? Among other things. Like, so when I say his fundamentalist Mormon beliefs start coming out, I mean it. Not in his writing, but in all of his, this is where the inspiration came from. He's a really good writer, though. Terry Pratchett's a really good writer, too. I like the Discworld series, especially Small Gods.
Bro, this whole time I'm here talking to myself.
You've been on mute.
I'm here commenting and shit, and it's like I'm like, why is Midnight of all people ignoring me? I'm talking mad shit to him.
Oh, what'd you say, huh? Come on.
Nothing. No, I muted my mic, and I forgot, so I was talking to myself.
Okay, Midnight. I'm going to have to find my copy of Small Gods, and I'm going to have to send it to you. I'm going to tell you right now, there are a few pieces of the book, like 2 pieces of the book, where it got really slow, and I was like, man, you got to pick up the pace or I'm done. But the book was so good. It was, like, overall, the book is so good, and it's pretty funny, and I love the concept of it. Have you heard of Small Gods?
No, but I have heard of Discworld, and I really love the video that exists out there of Death talking to this one woman about about justice and all that not really existing within matter. I don't know. You know that well, right?
Yeah. So Small Gods is based on the premise that anything can be a god as long as it has enough believers, right? And so it opens with this idea that there used to be many gods, but these many gods have like diminished to nothing more than jinns or whispers in the wind because they lost their following. And then you run into like all these institutions, right? Like it reminds you of the Spanish Inquisition, but these institutions are dedicated to the great god Om. And then you have this really slow member of the clergy, and people keep him around because he's a real true believer, and he just, he works the little farms for the church, the little gardens for the church, and he does his thing and he stays out of everybody's way. One day he's working in the gardens, and he finds this one-eyed tortoise, and he is very surprised to figure out that he can hear this one-eyed tortoise. Well, come
Does it
to
have
find
that
out,
one eye like right in the center of its head, or is it like
no, he's
left
been
or right?
injured. He's been
Oh.
injured. Yeah. So this one-eyed tortoise basically tells him that he is the great god Om and he is stuck as a tortoise. And Brutus is like, no, when Om comes, he appears as like a bull or is this. And he's like, I know, but I'm stuck as a tortoise. And he's like, why? And he kind of tells him, because I don't have enough believers. And so I'm losing my power because I don't have enough believers. And the simple guy is really confused. He's looking at these institution who's torturing non-believers, like he's like, but look at all this. All of this is dedicated in your name. People torture people who don't believe in you. And Om tells him, no. People don't believe in me. They fear the institution. Right? And so he and Om go on this great journey together.
Interesting.
But Om, he's the only one that can hear Om. But Om is constantly smiting people who annoy him. And it's hilarious because he comes up with the funniest smites ever. His little smites are freaking hilarious. But they're not doing anything, and only the slow guy can hear him. But anyway, it's actually a good story.
Does it say I smite thee but nothing happens? Or did they actually?
I smite you to stub your toe.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's like requesting all kinds of things. I don't remember all of them. I know there was something about like camel fleas infesting your crotch. There was something about crocodiles. There was something about I don't know. He has the funniest smites. He's like, I smite thee, made blah 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 blah. And you're just like, it's just funny. But it's a funny.
You still have my address?
Yes.
Cool.
I read too much. I know.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I like books.
Yes. I liked books since I was little. I used to read a book everywhere with me. Well, my mom was always like, "Oh, you're gonna embarrass me by reading a book." Like, okay. I will bring some to weddings or parties because it's like I'm not gonna have fun at the party, so I'll bring a book.
Oh, I bring books everywhere. Okay, it's so funny because when I was really little, I liked to pretend that I didn't like to read because I got made fun of. Okay, my mom, when she would read to me when I was a kid, she would read very animated and the characters would have different voices and all of that. So when I started reading in school, I was doing that. And the other kids made fun of me relentlessly for it. And so then I felt weird about it. And so every time they called me to read, I would read in the most monotone voice possible. So they would stop asking me. And so they thought that I hated reading or whatever, but I didn't. I just didn't want to be made fun of. But I am also the person, if I go to the doctor's office, I have a book with me. If I go to pick up a prescription, I have a book with me. If I go if I go to a social gathering, I probably have a book with me. I don't know. I'm that person.
Well, hey, you get no arguments from me.
And I'm never reading just one book. I usually have a nonfiction book and a fiction book that I'm going back and forth between.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. And everybody on this panel was cool too, including me. Yep.
Bond, please.
I'm not cool, Midnight. Just
yes, you are, Bond. I don't want to hear
realize
that nonsense. Yes,
No.
you are, and I don't want to hear that nonsense again.
no.
You're right. We're all better than cool. We're all weird.
Yes.
No.
Don't
Now-
mess with me. I will smack you, Bond. I will kick you in the shin, and I will tackle you.
I can't.
You'll probably run into a brick wall.
I'm pretty
Bond is
sure Bond.
Can,
I'm pretty
Midnight-
sure Bond is the tank at this point.
Bond Look, Bond is nice enough.
Mm.
First of all, I have pixie dust, so I don't want to hear it. But second of all, Bond is nice enough to pretend that it's actually possible for me to tackle him.
Well, that is possible. But Midnight, don't look at me as something I'm not.
My little.
Okay, then you suck. Is that what you want me to
No.
say?
There we
Don't
go.
let him. Don't
There
let
we
him say that. Don't let him say
No.
that because earlier he said we're friends, and he said this. He said these words. He said he doesn't open up to many people, but when he does, he really opens up. So if we're friends, then I can say he's cool, and you can take my word for it.
I do. I'm just saying I think he's cool too, but I was just giving him what he wanted by
Yeah, but I
saying
was-
he's not.
I was taking his out away because I can.
Fair enough.
That's
Just-
what you get for being nice, Midnight.
Yeah, just. I don't know.
He's saying don't put him on a pedestal, but I don't think he was trying to.
I'm not. I wasn't.
After all, he called me cool, and we all know that I am awkward as hell.
Yes.
You can be
Hey.
awkward and cool.
Pixie, did you-
Hey, have you
I
met me?
messaged
I'm the
Chad
king of
earlier.
awkward. So what'd you say, Dean?
I was asking Pixie if she saw my my first message in the chat earlier.
No. In this
No?
chat, in a different chat, what chat? This chat?
No, yeah, and then this YouTube chat.
Okay, let me go. I'm looking. Where is your first chat? Nope, that's hey guys, I'm back. So it's before that.
Yeah, it was before that.
Before that,
Oh, the we're not friends anymore?
No, not that one. I was trolling with that one.
I was like, yes we are. What are you talking
I
about?
was like, she replaced me with Bond.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not someone to replace people with. But,
Oh,
you know.
the Black Wolf. Yeah, I saw the Black Wolf.
Yeah, let's just say he's been king for quite some time now.
You
That's
know,
probably what influenced certain things and why I don't really care.
Black Wolf's better than no wolf though, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's right.
I am so
You
lost.
like my little hearts though.
Yeah, no, I got it. With the little dab after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the message.
Anyways,
About
talk.
it's a
uh,
inside joke thing.
I think Tog made a typo. It's really funny, but I'm not
What's
gonna
up,
highlight it.
Todd?
Oh, I'm sorry. God bless. I'm so sorry. Null made a typo. And it's a funny
No.
typo, but I'm not gonna highlight it.
no, his
I
name
think it's
is-
supposed to say am triggered. I didn't get a notification. But if you look in the chat, guys,
I just saw it. What the fuck?
but if you look in the chat, am triggered is not what it says.
It does not say I'm triggered, but his name says this one.
Wait a minute.
Why-
Spell check changed it from whatever it was to that? Are you kidding me?
Apparently.
No, spell check will fuck you over in the weirdest ways possible.
That's true.
First of all, I said I'm about to shut things down, and it said my mother-in-law, I'm about to shit down.
Yeah.
Also, I was texting my friend one day, and she was at work, and she was like, "Hey, hang on, I gotta take this call. I'm gonna hand you off." And hand me off usually meant she was gonna hand the phone to her boyfriend, and me and her boyfriend were gonna chat for a minute until she got back over there. Only this time she didn't hand me off to her boyfriend. She handed me off to like a total stranger, who then typed something random at me like, I almost said her name. Jay's phone, Lady Luck's phone is so tiny, right? Because he was making typos. He was like, the phone is so tiny. I tried to say, tiny people like tiny things.
Oh my
Do you know what my phone said him?
Oh my god.
It sent him, tiny people like tiny thongs.
Oh wow!
And then this total stranger was like, "Is that a Freudian slip?" It's like, oh fuck. Now
Poor
it's
guy.
awkward. How long is How long is Lady Luck going to be on the phone? Because now this is awkward. Oh,
Yeah. Typos are interesting sometimes.
Yep.
anyway, I thought that was a fun typo. Sorry.
Tiny people. I mean,
Yeah, that was my first conversation. Okay, his name starts with an E. I had conversations with this person after that. Obviously, they were friends with somebody I was very close to. But yeah, my first interaction with this person ever was tiny people like tiny thongs.
I know a Lady Luck from Australia.
She's actually Lady Luck is not from Australia. She is so very Irish that she speaks Gaelic. We used to trade words. She'd give me Gaelic words, I'd give her Cherokee words. But she used to say I'm not white, I'm indiglo. She's a sweetheart. But she's also the one who gave me the nickname Pixie because I called her Lady Luck for I guess it was like going on 2 years. And finally she was like, "Why do you call me Lady Luck?" And I said, "Because you're small and you're Irish and you're mischievous. You're like a little leprechaun." And we were in a group of people at this point. And she giggled.
You called her a leprechaun.
Yeah, well, not in the Americanized version of a leprechaun, but like in the original leprechaun folklore, not like we think of it. It's not like the leprechaun we think of. It's like closer to the original folklore.
What's your? I don't know the original because
yeah,
like when I think of leprechauns, I think of rainbows with a pot of gold at the end of it.
Yeah, not that kind of leprechaun. And then she looked at me in front of all our friends and she said, "You are smaller than I am, and you're twice as facetious as I am. So if I'm a leprechaun, you're a pixie." And Pixie just stuck. Everybody started. To this day, most people in my life call me Pixie. And Storms comes because my screen name at that time was Bringer of Storms. And so there was this like clash between people who called me Pixie and people who called me Storms. And it was confusing everyone. And that's where Pixie Storms comes from.
Stormbringer is a Deep Purple song.
Really? I don't know. My name was Bringer of Storms for a while.
I found a giant planet. I'm playing No Man's Sky. Just in case anyone is curious.
You're still playing that?
No, I told you when I play games, the closest.
No, I was asking Odin.
Yeah, well, obviously he's still playing it. He was talking about it. When I was telling him, no, I haven't played that game. I have not played that game because when I play games, like very few, there are some games I play that other people have heard of or that other people play. Like I'm sure other people play Borderlands, right? Or
yes,
or the new Baldur's Gate or Doom, right? But outside of those, like my games are games that most people don't play, and most of them are only 1 to 2 player games anyway. Like I love Devil May Cry. I like Zero Dawn Horizon. Prototype was a really good game. Fatal Frame.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, I don't play what other people play most of the time, I guess.
To be fair though, Midnight, I haven't really been gaming at all recently. Been really busy with work and.
Wait, I need you to pause that thought. I need you to pause that thought because I need a moment of silence because Bond left us without saying anything. Okay, we can continue.
Oh boy. Why you gotta call him out like that?
Maybe his internet had
It's like,
problems.
I want to hear these nerds. I would
No.
ask you guys what time is it, but I don't trust your time zone. So
It is 12:16, which puts you at what, 1:16?
It is 1:16.
The correct time is 12:16.
On that note, though, tomorrow's chemo day, so I do gotta get up early. Not my chemo day.
Okay.
I gotta take my mom to chemo.
Okay, tell your mom I said hi from a random guy.
Alrighty. It's been
You guys
fun.
aren't random. Wait, were you there on the drive? Oh, who was there? Okay, so occasionally when I have to make really long drives, I'll do a Google Hang. And like people will pop in and out. One time I was on a drive to, I don't know who all was there, but whoever was there, you're welcome. You got quite the show. So I'm driving with my mom, and my mom feels okay. First of all, my mom hates driving in the city. So like anytime we're like in Denver or any place like that, I'm the one doing all the driving, which is fine. I drive like a local, so it doesn't matter. But one trip, my mom felt so bad because it was I have family in Denver. Denver's where I was born. But we were going up there to help family and stuff like that. And I had to make so many trips just back and forth, back and forth. And sometimes I'll stay the night, but sometimes I'll just drive up to Denver and drive back in the same day. And so I was taking a trip with my mom up there and back one time, and she felt so bad because I had done all the driving. So she's like, I can drive. Now, my mom is so close to legally blind. All right, now, and it's not that she can't drive, it's sometimes she's a little absent-minded. We'll put it that way. So I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll let you drive until the next time we stop for gas, and then I'm gonna take back over. She's like, okay. So, and me and my mom, we will argue, but we'll argue in a playful way. Like if you were there, you probably heard me like racing my mom to pay for something. Like I wouldn't even let her pay for a soda, right? Like I wouldn't even let my mom buy her own soda. So you would hear like random shit like me and my mom laughing as I race her to pay the cashier. And she's like, no, don't take hers. And I'm like, yes, you will take mine. I got here first, stuff like that. And so we're on this trip. Hold on one sec. Okay, sorry. So so we're driving down the road. And all of a sudden, you can hear me laughing, I'm sure, and then you hear me going, Mom, you can't park sideways across 2 lanes in the middle of the road. Mom, we can't just sit here. Mom, what are you doing? And my mom's like laughing, and she's like, the headphones are tangled in the steering column. And we're trying to get her headphones out of the steering column without tearing them to pieces because she somehow got them wound in there, right? And I'm like, Mom, you cannot park sideways across 2 lanes in the middle of a highway access road. Like we gotta pull off, we gotta get somewhere, we gotta do something. She's like, there's nobody coming. And I'm like, Mom, get the fuck out of the road. So I finally convinced her to just turn around and go back to the gas station. And she does. And somehow on the way back, just going backwards, like unraveled her headphones from the steering column. By the time we got to the gas station, I just like tugged on it and it came out.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really cool. A lot of people don't really have that much fun with their parents like that. My mom thinks I'm a little shit because I troll her, all the time, but she trolls me as well. So, we're both little shit.
Oh, Super Munchkin and I have that relationship, right? Like people would think we were like serious or mad at each other, but we weren't at all. Like one time she was like, she said something about, she kept asking why, and I kept answering and answering. Then she started giggling, and I started noticing like she's doing this on purpose, right? She's doing this to see how far she could push me, and every time she'd ask me why, she'd giggle just a little bit harder. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
finally, I turned around and I was like, if you do not shut up, I will duct tape your mouth shut. And she looks up at me with her big eyes and she says, you can't do that. That's child abuse. And my
Oh my
response, much to everybody's surprise, was not if it's colored, then it's arts and crafts.
Oh shit.
And then she
Good
just starts
point.
laughing. And then she just starts laughing, right? Like we played with each other like that all the time.
Jeez, why am I finding these shitty moons and planets? Give me a gas giant. I'm literally landing on a rotting moon right now.
I have no idea what you're talking about because I've never played that game. But I'm going to let you guys talk backstage in just a moment because I really do have to work and take my mom to her appointment and go grab her and my uncle's lunch and go back to work and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off as well. It's late for me.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Well, good night, everybody, and thank you for coming. And we should do this again soon and all that good stuff.
Yep. Good night,
Yep.
Pixie. Thanks for having me up here.
night.
And to
night,
everybody
everybody.
else, good night.
Bye, midnight.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night, Batman.
And to everybody else, later days. Don't forget to smile and have bunches and bunches of fun, pretty shiny peoples. Good night.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
damn it. My fault. That was totally my fault.
I
I
meant
meant,
to
I meant to end it, but I had already moved my mouse and my keyboard back to my work computer without thinking about it. So then I was like, why is my mouse not working? Because I put it on the other computer already.
Are we still live?
Yes, I just told you I couldn't end it because I had
Oh.
already moved my mouse to my to my work computer for no reason.